Good morning. I am Coach Nikki Cates, and this is a self coaching vlog. How are you? I am recording this on a Monday morning. I'm good. I'm great, even. I'm trying to use a new term besides good or fine or okay because realistically speaking, I am more than good, fine, or okay. Life could be completely different from what it is right now. While it could definitely be better, it's not as bad as it could be. So I am grateful. And because I am grateful, I am better than good, okay, or fine. I think I just helped deliver somebody with that explanation. You have to be intentional about breaking bad habits, y'all. All right. Anyway, so I'm going to do updates first because I feel like it's been a little while since I've posted to the vlog. And then I want to share something with y'all that's on my heart this morning to put out there, hopefully, is a blessing to someone. Updates. The scale is not showing or reflecting what I would like it to at this point. However, I am still seeing changes in my body. I have not been walking consistently or working out. This is my last week at my job, so Friday is my last day, and I've already started putting on my schedule events and setting up meetings to go outside. So I figure once I no longer have to clock in for 8 hours a day, I will have zero excuses in fitting in at least a walk. That's my intention. I know it's an excuse. I know, sis. However, what I have decided is to be patient with myself. I have been through this process, God knows how many times in the last 30 years, and I just absolutely refuse to beat myself into it this time mentally and emotionally. So we just gonna keep rolling with it. I know that my goal needs to be 1 to 2 pounds per week, no more than 3. And in order to see at least a significant difference by my birthday in September, I really need to focus on my portions. And that's something that is difficult unless I'm using the actual meal prep containers, right? Because I have a food scale, but I don't stop to weigh and stuff like that. So my intention today is to actually meal prep because I was supposed to yesterday, but Saturday threw me off, and I ended up doing all of my content catch up yesterday, literally all day. I wanted to be done by the time of Shark Week at 8 o'clock, and I was not. I actually was still working until about 8:30 p.m. I started probably about 9 or 10 a.m. and had to take a brief break to run to the grocery store. Literally all day, y'all. But I always remind myself that when we are creating, we're not creating for right now, we're creating for what's coming later. So, keeping that in mind, that gives me an excitement about what type of fruit is going to come from sowing the seed out into the internet, out into the world. So, that's what helps me. I don't know what helps you because it's bananas to me as I started really diving into this content creation game how difficult it is to maintain consistency when you're not hearing the applause or the gratitude. Y'all, it's hard. And to think of the people that's been doing this for 10 plus years and had to start out this way. Unless you are already a celebrity and you put in your hard knocks in another area of industry, you're starting from scratch. You're an unknown just like I am. And it can be very, very challenging to force yourself to continue to create when nobody seems to be reading, nobody seems to be engaging, nobody seems to be watching, nobody seems to be listening. Now, I do have a little solace to fall back on that my podcast is doing fairly well. Sisters Unbothered podcast. You can listen to it on Apple, here on YouTube, as well as I'm missing one. Substack. For some reason, it's not going over to Spotify, so I'm gonna have to work on that. whenever it crosses my mind at a time where I'm not already doing other things. But I'm hitting a few hundred people a month with the podcast, which is commendable considering I don't have a major sponsor yet. I'm not on a national syndication or anything like that. I'm not doing as much marketing as I could. I'm not seeking out guests that could bring traffic. That's just literally just me getting behind the mic and sharing whatever it is Holy Spirit has for me to share, or that I feel the need to share from my own experiences, my transparency, and the things that I'm learning and desiring to teach. So check that out if you are interested. We just talked about unmasking the emotions of rage and grief in Black women's lives from a womanist perspective. So that was this past week's episode if you want to check it out. So I think, oh, real quick, I am sticking to my morning routine. And that's been a big theme throughout these vlogs, is really showing you all how important it is to do that. And when you don't, how it can dismantle your effectiveness for that day. You're not open to the discernment and the least spiritual guidance that will lead you to the people that you need to interact with, or into the spaces that you need to enter in order to be seen and heard, which means you can miss divine connections, divine favor, divine opportunities. And what does this look like? It looks like we've talked about this so many times already on this vlog, but if you're new, welcome. What we're talking about is how you spend the first 30 minutes to an hour of your day, specifically the first 30 minutes of your day, is vital to how your day is going to go. For me personally, it's about grounding myself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And those are really based off of my core values, my primary core values, which are faith, family, and transformation. Taking that time, that first 30 minutes, what mine looks like is I get up, I use the restroom, because I give myself an extra 5 minutes before 6 o'clock to get up, use the restroom, weigh myself, all those things, right? And then I sit down at 6. I turn on my light therapy lamp and set it for 30 minutes. I drink 10 gulps of water, and then I drink while I'm doing my morning grounding, whatever I'm reading at the time. Right now, I'm still working through a discipleship workbook, a Christian discipleship. And while I'm doing that, I'm drinking my 30 grams of protein within 30 minutes. And what I've noticed is when I do that, my cravings and my desire to eat is minimalized for the rest of the day. So I'm not struggling as much with cravings and wanting to overeat, which is, I've learned, vital for me to maintain and to lose. I already eat fairly well. I just do not watch my portions. So that's something that I have had to learn through my favorite term, self-awareness. And then, understanding myself, how I work, my flaws, my weaknesses, my strengths, and so forth, and then applying that to how I move in the day. So when I take that first 30 minutes, my goal is to take the other 30 minutes to exercise, to move my body. I do take my dog out, but actual healthy heart cardio or movement is what I really need to get back to. And so that's something that I'm aspiring to once I am no longer employed at my full-time remote corporate job. So, all that to say, so many people have said it so many different ways, but how you start your day first thing in the morning, the intention you put into it, decluttering and organizing your thoughts, your emotions, your priorities. Okay, I was just talking to someone the other day, and they were talking about their time management, and I said, well, are you familiar with your energy zones? And they were like, I don't even know what an energy zone is. Y'all, it is a game changer to manage your time based off of your energy. But you have to be willing to sit down, declutter, and reorganize your thoughts, your emotions, and your intentions, your tasks, your to do list, your appointments, whatever else you need to fit into your schedule. You have to learn how to be self aware in that process. And what do I mean by that? Energy zones are how your energy levels respond in a day. For me, mine is like a slope. I start as high up as I can around 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and mine dips. And we've talked about this in another video. Mine dips as the day progresses. So by early afternoon, I'm already almost in red zone. Very much yellow or orange. Red by 5 or 6 o'clock. But that's not everybody. Some people go up and down. Some people start down and go up. And it just, or, maybe they have one or two dips throughout the day, or peaks. You have to pay attention to yourself and understand that when you have the green zone energy, your ultimate peak of energy for that day, prioritize what's most important for you in that moment. Is that exercise? Is that writing, like for me? Is that creating? Is that people interactions, like phone calls and coffee meetings, or whatever that may look like? Is that family? Something that you need to do specifically within your family? What I would say is you have to understand your priorities or your core values in order to say, this is what's most important to me during my peak times, and then begin to prioritize things in order of how your energy responds throughout the rest of the day. What I can do in the red zone, as long as it doesn't require a fresh mind and optimal creativity, if it's just something like recording my audiobook, all I'm doing is reading from the book into a microphone. I've laid on the couch and done that before. So, answering emails, very mundane, can be done around your yellow zone time. For me, that's around midday, 11, 12 o'clock. So just understanding what that looks like, y'all. Or, if you're more introverted like I am, then you absolutely have to have alone time in order to recharge your battery. And being in front of others drains your battery. So understanding your energy level so you understand when is the best time for me to schedule interactions with others. For me, it's very difficult to do that in the evening or night, which I cannot avoid sometimes. But I am very aware of my minimal energy available if I do that. It's just an understanding, y'all. It's an understanding of yourself, how you're wired, what matters most in that moment, because it changes. That's why work-life balance is a myth. It really is about creating a harmony, a dance routine that makes sense for you uniquely and helps you to move gracefully through life. I'm looking for the proper way to say these things. So consider that. I promise you it's a game changer as far as getting things done. Because if you have a project you need to work on, and that project either is super important to you or it's super important to you moving in your purpose, you absolutely positively need to prioritize it. But what should it be prioritized over, and what shouldn't it? And what does that look like on a daily basis? Again, for me, when I'm writing a book, that has to happen first thing in the morning when I'm at my optimal energy levels. Because if I try and do it later in the day, I'm distracted, my energy is dwindling, which means that my creativity is not fresh and it is not flowing freely. And so when I'm doing like content creation, like articles and blog posts, and creating, scripts and doing videos and reels, that doesn't require as much of that creativity as it does for me to actually write, like working on my novel or short stories or something like that. So keep that in mind. Allow my transparency to be an amazing lesson for you, or at least to jolt in your mind a different conversation that needs to be had about your effectiveness and how you actually do have some control over your time and your days and your energy and what you spend it on, because we don't get it back. Okay, we're at 15 minutes. I hope that was helpful. The other thing I wanted to mention to you all is patience. I have been one of the most impatient people probably to walk this earth. I can't tell you on my hands how many times, maybe if I used my toes too, but I think it's probably beyond that, how many times I have ran out ahead of the Lord. When I felt like He'd given me a vision, an idea, a concept, I would run with it in the wind just to hit a brick wall, because He knew that wall was ahead and I was going to have to be prepared to scale it. But I ran out ahead of Him. So take that analogy as you will and understand that patience is not just the process of waiting, it's your attitude while you wait. So whatever it is that you are waiting for, you have to reassess, am I doing my part? Am I abiding in Him so that I will be fruitful? Am I following His lead to avoid having to continue to recharge, replenish, get back on track? I don't know how many times I detoured running in the wrong direction. Learn from me, y'all. Well, yesterday, last night even, I finally got some clarity on some things that I have been waiting for quite some time. And it's so exciting when that happens, when that light bulb finally turns on and you finally understand what it was that He was holding from you, per se. I would say holding from me until I was ready for it. And it's exciting. That thought process of realizing I wasn't ready and you held it until I was, and now that it's here, I am super excited and so wanting to run with it. But now, because there has been a delay or deferment, and recognizing that I'm more ready than I would have been then. So I'm excited. But I wanted to remind you all that patience is for the long game, okay? When we rush, that is short-term accomplishment. That is not for sustainability. In order to see sustainability in any aspect of your life, any tasks, any goals, any pursuits, you have to practice a level of patience and allow the process to work, allow the journey to unfold. And that's hard when you're ready to get to the other side. But I am encouraging you to focus on sustainability. Focus on long term, whether that's weight loss. That's why I'm not stressing every time y'all see me get on here and talk about my journey. Because I'm looking for sustainability. I'm in my 40s now. By the time I get to my 60s, I don't want to have to keep having this conversation. I want to have established a lifestyle that works for me long term. That's my goal. And I'll get there. So, again, allow my transparency to be your treasure. All right, we're almost to 20 minutes. I am going to go ahead and close out this vlog. Happy Monday. I appreciate y'all for listening in. Please share with someone that may be blessed by these nuggets. And remember, the only way you can self-coach yourself is to know yourself and begin to love yourself so that you can be yourself. No other way around it. Love y'all. Talk to you later.